So some of you guys missed the session with Dr. Cardenas, who is a professor at University of South Carolina, and he Skyped in to tell us about Ecuador. He is Ecuadorian, but he also leads study abroad trips to Ecuador. And so he has some really good insight on what to take to Ecuador, what to do in Ecuador, what tourism is like in Ecuador, what to buy in Ecuador. It was a really good session. So if you haven't watched the video, I wouldn't blame you because it's been such a crazy end of the semester, but do, because it's going to be well worth the 30 minutes or 40 minutes. And it's certainly something you can do while you're folding laundry and other stuff. But it was a really good session. The other sessions that I think a few people missed was the time with the travel nurse, Kevin Long. So if you missed that, you need to watch that and or make an appointment with him, because there are certain things you need to be careful about, which I'm not going to repeat here because we've already covered it. I will point you to this, though. This is some of the information he provided to us. It summarizes the types of immunizations you might need, some of the other protection you might need from mosquitoes and stuff. But I'm going to put that on you guys, because you've got the information here. You've got Kevin Long as a resource here. I'm going to be going to the Watauga County Health Department tomorrow to take care of my health needs and shots and that sort of thing. So yeah.
Those papers he was handing out, do you have those, or do we have to make them?
You have to get from him.
Okay.
Yeah, because they're private.
Okay.
Yeah. Any other general questions about sessions you've missed? Yeah.
Balls that I've dropped. Couple things. There are two people, I think it's Allie and James, that don't have the 60 hours required for the course.
Okay.
So they end up with a BUS 2000 instead of BUS 3000. I mean, you still go, you still get credit for it. It's just that because of the requirement, you can't take it at the 3000. Do you know if that's you?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
it is.
It is, okay. And the other one is James Ellington. So sometime between, next couple of days, if you just swing by my office, there's a form you need to fill out. And I'll try to get that from advising. And then the folks in camps and conferences will register you, will submit your name to be registered to the 2000 level, because your two names kicked back out because they couldn't register you because of the hour requirement. And I think with you it's one measly hour is all it is. So I don't know, I haven't seen James yet, so if you communicate with him, or I will make myself a mental note, which is a very dangerous thing, to just let him know to stop by my office so we can get him registered.
Yeah. Okay. So other things on the As You Learn site, your syllabus, where we're going to be staying, flight details, that sort of thing. This pre-departure information, this was given to us by the folks who are operating the boat. So just get, again, good general travel tips that you should be aware of. How many of you have gotten your textbook? Yay!
Oh, wow.
Good, that's really good. How many of you have gotten either a Galapagos or an Ecuador travel book? Awesome. Okay, good. So have I. I haven't started looking at it. I'm going to wait till the semester's over. But again, their travel guide is going to have some good packing tips and what you need. Speaking of your text, it's divided into two parts. Okay, the first part is really general information about ecotourism. I say it's general, it actually goes pretty in-depth, about 120 pages, but it's not destination specific. This part 2 of the book is destination specific, and the first section is about the Galapagos. So what I want you to read before we go on the trip, before we leave, I want you to read all of part 1, and then the section about the Galapagos Islands. All in all, it's going to end up being about 160 pages. Okay? Then at the very end, there's a 7-page kind of conclusion. I'd like you to read that too. And then what's going to happen is once we get on the trip, I will assign to you the pages that you'll be in charge of for your lesson, for your class discussion. So I'm not going to do that till we get on the trip. So again, I want you to read all of part 1. The subsections are In Search of the Golden Toad, The World Travel Industry Going Green, Ecotourism Today, and then the section that's specifically on the Galapagos Islands in part 2. Did any of you guys get a chance to see the film Mission Blue about Dr. Earl? Yeah? How was it?
Really cool.
Was it?
Really good.
Oh, good. Very
I've
good.
Never heard of her before. I don't know why.
She's pretty kick butt, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish. Yeah, it's just really.
You wish she could go to the Galapagos instead of me?
No.
It's all right.
Wish I could meet her.
Yeah. Yeah, she's really cool. She's very cool. Good, good. And then for those of you guys who aren't familiar with the Global Sustainable Tourism Criteria, I want to put them here for you. And then that's a really nice article, just looking at ecotourism from the past, the 1980s, and then how we look at it today. All right. Any questions about this general stuff or about readings? No? Okay.
It's kind of a general. Since we're doing, like, whenever we have our layover in Ecuador on the, I guess, the day before we come back here.
Oh, okay.
We have like the whole day.
Yeah.
Are we gonna do anything that's like related to agritourism or?
During the literal layover, when we would probably be in the airport all that time?
We're gonna be in the airport?
Yeah, that's right, because we fly
Okay,
in
I thought
from,
we were gonna be just like hanging out. Okay.
sorry, we're stuck in the airport.
No, that's
Yeah.
fine. I
Yeah.
just didn't know what we'd be doing in that.
Yeah. One thing we'll be doing is like a final debrief.
Mhm.
And another thing we'll be doing is a post-trip survey. This is your pre-trip survey. And actually, I'm gonna bribe you with extra credit to do this because it's long-ish. It's long-ish.
Is that the one from Joe
That's the
Daly?
one from Joe.
You are great to do that. It is longish. It's a little bit of a pain in the neck to do,
Yeah.
but
So that's why you guys, I'm gonna bribe you with extra credit. So that covers like some logistics, readings. The other thing you need to be thinking about before we leave is what are you gonna do your individual paper on? It'd be really good to have an idea about that before you go. Because the trip is gonna just go by in a flash. And so it'd be great to really know what you want to research and focus on so that when we're there, you can take every opportunity to focus on that particular thing.
Hallie, were you going to say something?
It was about Taylor's question.
Sure.
Are you talking about the last day?
Mhm.
Okay,
Oh,
so
so
that,
you're not going to be sitting around there.
No.
You're going to be.
Yeah, you're not gonna sit around.
okay, that's what I was.
You get out of that. But I can still bribe you.
I'll take a picture. Yeah. I love extra credit.
Oh,
Are the paper requirements on here?
Not yet.
So can you give me like an example of what I would run the paper and what we can?
Yeah. The gastro-tourism scene in Quito. So like the food tourism scene in Quito. Best management practices for marine tourism. I'm just randomly coming up with things.
So it can pretty much be anything.
Yeah. It can be farm tourism. I mean, you're going to have to kind of stretch your definition of that to apply it to what we're going to be doing. But, yeah.
When we first started talking about this, one of the things I thought you guys might want to do is evaluate what policies the Galapagos National Park needs to change to protect ecotourism.
And they are doing that as a group project.
Oh, okay. Sorry. If I came to class, I'd know all about this.
That's
wouldn't I?
okay. There's one in every class. But again, once the semester's over, I'm going to give you guys a much more detailed idea about that. Because I do have some thoughts and like a kind of list of maybe this, maybe that. But think about what you're interested in particular, in tourism, and let that be your guide. and also read, read that book, read your textbook, and read your guidebook, because that's going to give you, ideas rather than just kind of wanting a magical thought to appear in your head. Good? Yes? Use. Dr. Milner's the only one nodding. Okay, that's bad. So this packing list is certainly not mandatory, but I will say that there are a few guidelines. One is going to be cool at night in Quito, so you want a sweater or a sweatshirt or something. Typically internationally, when you go out to dinner, people dress up. So we're very, very casual in the States, and this would probably be too casual. So just think about that, and doing like the Romans when we're in Rome. One other thing I want to mention about dress in particular, while I remember it, is that t-shirts with like stuff on it. I prefer you to wear just plain t-shirts or something with very small captions on it. One reason is you don't want to draw attention to yourself, and the second reason, and that's a really big reason, and the second reason is some things that we might think are funny might be misinterpreted, so we don't want to unintentionally offend or, I don't know, just, offend. Yeah, Kayla?
Well, I think with the first meeting we talked about, like if you look too flashy, like you have a lot of money, you're more likely so we're supposed to dress up but not be flashy?
Yes.
At night?
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
You're supposed to look nice, but don't wear a lot of bling. Don't carry your most expensive purse with you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I had said at some point that they like for publicity if you have app wear. So if something says Appalachian, that's probably okay. You can wear it on the cruise.
Yeah, on the boat.
Yeah, on the boat.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I know that kind of sounds counterintuitive, but yeah, I mean, we want you to look nice, but we don't want you to, wear a t-shirt out to dinner.
Yeah.
But right, I wouldn't, and I think, I don't know who said it, if it was Kevin or it doesn't matter who said it, if there's something that you would be really, really sad that if it got stolen or torn or cut or anything, don't bring it. Don't bring it. Okay. All of this is on As You Learn, so I'm just going to go quickly through it. In addition to your passport, it's really smart to carry a copy of your passport, a photocopy of your passport, and you would carry that somewhere else other than where you carry your passport. That's, of course, if your passport gets stolen, it's going to be a lot easier to get it replaced. We're only going to be there for 5 days. I'm personally going to, whatever I wear down on the trip down, I'm going to wear back. So that's one thing. And then we're going to be on the boat for 3 days. So
It's really short. I will overpack because it's almost impossible to not overpack. It's such a short trip.
it is. It is. So anyway, all of this is on here. The other one thing that I'm going to be kind of witch about is when we're in Quito in particular, I really don't want you guys wearing open-toe shoe. That's my rule. You cannot wear open-toe shoe. It's an economically developing nation. There are lots of water puddles that you might accidentally step in and you don't know what's in the water. I had a student come back from Ghana, and Ghana's a great country, nothing wrong with Ghana. Accra, the capital, is very developed. It's like Los Angeles. And she came back, and 9 months after the trip, she had some sort of intestinal worm, parasite, that you only get that burrows into typically your feet, that's found in some kind of stagnant water. Okay, so if that doesn't scare you enough, I can keep telling you lots of good stories. I got great stories from my study abroad days. Yeah, got really good stories about street food and why people get sick off of street food. But in addition to what can be in the water and in the sewage and just on the street, there's also a lot of potential for sharp things that you just may not see. And it can happen to anyone. Accidents happen to anyone all the time. A fella on one of my Cuba trips was in the water, and he was just kind of wading in the water, and he slipped on a rock. You know, that's pretty normal. He didn't have on, you know, deck shoes or anything, and he was barefoot. He slipped on a rock. His whole toenail came off of his big toe, and it was a miserable trip for the rest of the time because he was limping. I mean, it was, and he had to go to a Cuban doctor, and you know, they ripped off his toenail and gave him some antibiotics, and it was just terrible. So your feet, be very, very careful with your feet. There's a lot of reasons to protect them, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's it. I mean, just, so dressing appropriately, not wearing like funny shirts, not calling a lot of attention to yourself, and protecting your feet. Is there anything I'm missing, Dr. Milster? Of like the must-dos?
No, I think
Okay.
good.
Okay. I would recommend taking a washcloth, because sometimes when you travel internationally, it's not customary to have that in a hotel. I don't know if we're going to have them on the boat or not. So-
And in Brazil, they don't use washcloths.
No,
It's
Europe,
just a different-
yeah. So take a washcloth or two. Yes, ma'am.
For the bathing suit,
Uh-huh.
what kind of bathing suit? I think we already talked about this, but I forgot. What kind of bathing suit? do you wear?
My take is whatever you want. I mean, because we're going to be in a touristy area, so they're going to be pretty much used to seeing whatever. You don't need to wear a one piece. I know that was brought up before. I mean, you may be more comfortable in a one piece. It just depends on how comfortable you are with people looking at you. And if you're going to be snorkeling, now David Cardenas said that the water's going to be super cold and that we should have wetsuits, but I haven't asked the boat people about
Yeah,
that
the
yet.
boat people said that they will provide snorkeling gear, but not wetsuits.
Not wetsuits.
So I went and I spent $60 on Amazon.com, and I got a little shorty. I've never used a wetsuit in my life. I'm going to look like, you know, a black potato is kind of what I'm going to look like in there.
A shorty, does it cover?
It's like short sleeves and then Bermuda kind of thing, one
They
piece.
stop like right above the knee and
Gotcha.
usually right above the
And,
elbow, or you
uh,
can get long sleeve ones.
Huh.
Yeah, and the thing about these are, and I've never
Shorts.
used one, but they're buoyant. So if you're going to go snorkeling and you put a wetsuit on, you know, your legs are going to be like this as you try to go down to
Right.
see what's there, but it's going to be comical. But I hear that the only difference is how long you'll be able to stay in the water.
Right.
So the water's cold enough, you go in for 15 minutes or so, you'll do your snorkeling, you'll start feeling cold, and you'll come out and you'll warm up and go back in. If you want to really look silly, you know, like
I
this
do.
floating
Yeah.
moldy potato, then you
Yes.
can get a shorty and
Well, the other advantage of wearing a wetsuit is a lot of people don't realize is that you will get sunburn
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
crazy when you're snorkeling because you're above the water, so
Sure.
the water doesn't give you any UV protection.
Sure. Okay.
So it's also good to just wear like a long sleeve shirt if you don't want to burn.
Good.
I would be interested in doing that, but I wonder if the SRC rents that kind of stuff. So I wonder if we could just rent it for the trip.
oh,
like a
they
student
teach scuba lessons here. They
Yeah.
very well may. I don't think I
Because
can.
I mean, I
because
don't
I'm not a
think I-
student.
Are you
Use it
volunteering to
again.
look into that?
I could, yeah.
That
That'd
would
be
be
awesome.
great.
Yeah, I'll
That
call
would be great.
later.
I had one of our alums who was coming stop by to meet me, I guess, make sure I wasn't an axe murderer. And he claimed that he is planning on bringing some sort of
Something like that.
wetsuit, but he's
Okay.
not carrying a weight belt, which countervails the buoyancy. But that would really be kind of foolish to travel halfway across the world carrying lead in your suitcase, just so. So I don't know what all they rent, but
And they might not, but then there's also another scuba place.
It's like Twin Rivers
Yeah.
and something, yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Everything I see says you should wear a wetsuit because it will be cold
Yeah. Yeah.
underwater.
David knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, like yeah. And I don't know, I've gone snorkeling without a wetsuit before in like the Keys,
Yeah.
and that sucked. It was really cold.
Okay.
When you like dove down to see something,
Yeah.
it was freezing.
Okay.
Not literally.
So that'll take up some space.
Yeah, I mean, this is like a 3 mil or a 2.5 mil. It's
Yeah.
pretty thin.
Yeah.
But, and it, as I was researching this before we, months ago, it really varied from time of year to time of year according to currents. So some times of year it was really cold, some times of year it was not so bad.
Yeah.
But I'm useless. I have no recollection as to what it is when we're going to be there. So if it happens to be the really cold time, it probably is worth the extra. I mean, it's not heavy, it's just bulky.
Yeah, they're like neoprene and
Yeah,
they're weird to move in, but once you get used to it,
rather than being cold.
it's definitely better than being cold.
Bring a small backpack, I know you will anyway, just so that when we get off the boat and we're like walking around on the island, you have something to carry your necessary things in it, like toilet paper. Yeah, bring a journal. Remember, I want you to keep a journal. That's going to be part of the assignments, and every now and then I'll be like, okay, tomorrow's journal day. Show me a page in your journal. So some people have really gotten into that in past trips and made it very personal. I'm going to bring my laptop. I don't know what the Wi-Fi situation is.
I think when we're on the boat, we will not have
No
it.
Wi-Fi.
If we have it, they're going to charge us the
Okay.
price of the laptop probably.
Okay.
to use it.
Okay, yeah, so you may just wanna, you may be fine with your phone, for the short amount of time that we're gone.
My wife and I have embarked on this Let's Learn About the Galapagos thing. So we go to Netflix and we see what's free on Netflix to watch that has Galapagos in the title. So we watched this hour show about the devil came to the Galapagos, early settlers and the murders, they killed each other, and it really lowered my expectations about this beautiful island paradise where we're going to be. So,
That was something that someone recommended to us.
is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, it was an eye-opener.
Yeah.
Is it? So anyways, I was going to not recommend it. Go, enjoy, don't know the history of all the murders that happened on these islands between mostly German settlers that couldn't get along in the confined space.
I sent a week or two ago a PDF that had everybody's travel insurance card on it. You'll need to print that. You'll need to print yours. And there were some instructions on how to log into the HTH site. Kind of like if you're traveling abroad and you log into the embassy site, they want to kind of keep track of you. I don't think there's anything wrong if you do that. I don't think there's anything wrong if you don't do that. They do ask us to do that. Yes,
Could
ma'am.
you possibly resend that?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I got
Okay. Yeah, I sure will. Did anybody get that?
No.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Good. Okay, good. I just wanted to make sure I'm not crazy.
I don't think that proves it one way or the other.
Yeah, I don't know what else to really go over here.
Dr. Klein did something very nice, following up with the cruise
yeah.
group about whether beverages were included or not. So I'll call it beverages, and of course you got to pay extra. It turns out that soft drinks are included,
No.
but sodas are not.
No, that's not true. Sorry.
Yes. So that I'm just kind of whetting their appetite. So soft drinks, as they put it, such as coffee, tea, and water, were included.
Okay.
Sodas are
Okay.
not.
Okay.
So we're not exactly sure what the difference between a soda and a soft drink really is, but it does appear that water is considered a soft drink and that you will be able to get water on the boat without having to pay extra.
And tea and coffee,
And tea and
which
coffee.
is great. So, you shouldn't drink too many sodas anyway. But it sounds like they're going to be like super expensive, like $3 to $5.
Yeah.
So probably a beer will be less, or the same price as a soft drink,
Probably.
a soda. So that is all I was going to go over. Dr. Mesner, you were going to do some maybe final logistics.
Well, the biggest concern that I have is that everyone will be at the airport when we depart. Now, our flight, I didn't bring a copy of the flight. We need to be there 2 hours early. What time is our flight out of Charlotte? It's like,
I'll
Is
pull
it?
it up for you.
I thought for international it was 3.
It's two.
yeah,
Is it
well,
2? Because I was just at the airport on Thursday. I got there 3 hours early.
yeah, we are connecting in Atlanta, so there will be, it's the getting to gate. Technically, Brian, you're absolutely right. They want you there 3 hours ahead of time. Usually it gets to be a little long, 2 hours usually works okay. I would say that if we're going to be punctual, which we are, 2 hours before our flight, we need to all be there. So get there at the latest 2 hours ahead of the flight. So the flight out of Charlotte's at 1:15, that means 11:15 at the Delta counter. I'm going to arrive there with a sheet with everybody's name on it, and you need to kind of check in with me, say, okay, I'm here. And once I know that you are here, you can check in and you can go through security. But do not go through security until you have checked in with me so I know that we're all here.
Yeah.
And then once everybody is checked off the list, I'll be the last one through security. So I'll miss the flight with whoever else misses it, but I would really prefer not to. So if you can all be there 2 hours ahead of time, check in with me, then you can go check in with the airlines and go through security, and we'll reconvene at the gate before we board.
I'd love it to I'd love for all of you to text me so that I have your cell phone number.
Yeah.
And that way we can track you down in case it's hard to find Marty.
Yeah, that's great. We usually in the old days, we'd pass out a sheet and people would write their cell numbers on it, but this is way better.
No.
So we just send you a text message.
Yeah.
And I can figure out how to send a text message.
And put your name on it, because that's how I'll search for you.
Okay.
Like, hi, this is Chelsea, and then I'll
Okay, so if I click on messaging,
You want us to send you a message now?
yes, right.
I probably need to add you to contacts first, right? I'm sorry, I am very old, so let's try Klein here, people.
Is our clothes being keto as far as at night? I guess it's gonna be cold, so this doesn't matter too much, but it would be like, we should wear sleeves and stuff, like you
Yeah, I
shouldn't.
think so. I think so. Yeah. And layers are always a great idea.
I'm sure we covered this. Is the dinner included in the cost, or are we gonna pay for dinner separately?
I think it's included.
As far as we know, we've got enough money.
Yeah.
We may not be able to fly back, but at least we'll take care of you. Yes, it is included.
Okay.
Now, it is, at least as we were discussing, it is like a set menu. You're not gonna be able to go down there. It's not all you can eat lobster. It'll have like 3 different choices. You'll pick one. It'll probably run us about $8 or so per person, but that we will cover.
Okay.
Did you ever find an alternative to the DEET stuff?
Oh, yes, but I don't know what it is. Let me do that and get back to you.
Okay.
There's plenty of things at Whole Foods or Earth Fare, but I don't know the name of the one that I use. I don't know what it is.
Okay.
I know I'm not a woman in childbearing years, which was kind of the discussion, but I always use 100% DEET, hoping the person next to me is only using 30, and that way the mosquitoes all go to them and I'm protected. So. Just saying, they're a different philosophy.
That's true. That's a good one. I think we were also going to talk about the. So are we done talking about getting to Charlotte though, or should
No,
we coordinate?
sorry, I was still dealing with messaging. So we need to make sure that everybody can be there 2 hours ahead of time, has a way to get there. So I will be driving a Ford Escape, most likely, down.
I'll be driving a Ford Escape.
Really? Wow.
But I'm going to drive mine to Hickory Hop and then take the shuttle down.
Okay,
Yep.
so I'm going to drive mine from up here. My wife is going to, so we'll have 2 people in there, which means we could take 3 more people. Now, we're old, we listen to
Who knows
really,
what?
yeah, exactly, who knows what. So it won't be a fun ride, but we do have room enough for 3 people to go. So if you can't find anybody else, we are available. Is anybody else driving from Boone? Because classes are out, I don't know who's even going to be here, but we do have 3 spaces from Boone for anybody that would be in Boone at that time.
And I'm going to push the Hickory Hop thing again. I mean, because unless you have somewhere that you can park in Charlotte so that it's not a problem, you're going to be paying for parking.
It's like $40, yeah, by the time you've done a week of parking down there.
So you
That's
At the airport, it's $5 a day
is it
in the remote lots.
awesome?
But I know
Well,
that
I would
one
not
for.
leave one thing in your car.
Yeah, no, I was
Yeah.
literally I would park there this weekend.
Yeah.
So let me go ahead, since I'm only texting Dr. Klein, I'm gonna put my phone number up there so that if things get complicated, you can get in touch with me. I do have a pickup, and we can put you in the back of the pickup if you won't fit in the car, so there are options, but it would be 828-773-2330. So that, if something, even if you're running late to get to the airport, but who does not have a plan on how to get to the airport? I guess that's what we need to know. Everybody has a plan. Well, then we're all good. We don't know about James.
We don't know about names.
We're pretty sure Bree does.
Yeah.
She's flying right into Atlanta.
Yeah.
So that was really cool how that worked out.
Yeah.
It was great. Okay, so everybody is okay getting to the airport?
Or at least they'll figure it out
Yeah,
closer
Yeah,
to
or you'll
that.
figure it out, that's right. And if not, you
Closer
can
to
always,
that day, yeah.
there's, oh, somebody has texted me.
I already sent you.
Oh, wow, cool. Isn't technology great? Who knew?
Should we talk about how much money to take? Okay. So are you guys big souvenir shoppers? No? Yeah. Hell yeah. Not talking about that, but just sort of everything else, drinks. Let's kind of talk through the things you'll need money for. Possibly internet, which I would bring, I don't know, like a good $30
So popular.
just for that.
Like on the boat?
I don't know. I will check into that.
What's the question?
Is internet, how much is internet on the boat?
Yeah, I'm not even sure it will be available, but it will
Okay.
be overpriced if it is available.
Yeah, but we'll look into that.
So will we have cell service at all on the boat? Like,
See, I've only been on these big cruise boats before. I've never been on a private yacht that's
Yeah.
been chartered for an event like this. On the big boat, there are times when you can't. So I'm thinking on this little dinky yacht, it's going to be very unlikely.
It would depend on where the cell towers are in the
Yeah,
islands,
that's
which
right.
odds are, since there's only 3% that can actually be developed on, there's probably not going to be cell service.
Yeah, I would expect not to be
guess.
pleasantly
Bet
surprised.
you it's in a guidebook somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet you're right.
Bet that information is there.
I don't know exactly 100% how this works, but there's a thing called like the Spot, I think it's
hotspot?
No, it's like an app you can buy or download, and you can send like a pre-made message to someone, and you don't. I don't think it requires like cell service. So you can, but I don't get exactly how it works.
There's Viber, which as long as you have internet, it'll use the internet to send it for you as well. It's an app that you download and put it on, so you wouldn't have to have 4G or 3G or whatever GSM.
And in Quito, at the hotel, it's included. So we know that. Okay, so what do you need money for? Maybe the internet, sodas, if you're gonna drink sodas, alcohol, that, if you are gonna drink alcohol, souvenirs, some tipping. Dr. Mesner and I will be able to cover some of your tipping, but not all of your tipping. And I don't know what the tipping custom is, except for we asked David, that's right, and he said it was kind of minimal. Do you remember that?
He said 50 cents to $1 for
Yeah.
like a meal. If
Yeah.
you don't tip hotels or cabs or anything
Yeah,
like
he
that.
said you don't need to tip hotels or cabs.
Cruise, I think you will, though.
Yeah,
Yeah, the thing, the one the touring company came out said at the end of the cruise, crew and guides are tipped
Yes.
separately.
and when we are on the different islands, we'll need to tip the guides there. And so that, we're hoping that we can cover on, with the expenses. So, but do pack something for tipping. What else do we need money for, Dr. Mesner? If you're a big
Like
eater.
bottled water?
So as far as I know, there's a $20 transit fee. Something like just getting to the Galapagos, you have to pay $20, and then it's $100 to go in the park. That was all. Those both were included in your costs, so you do not need money for those. I know I love to snack, and I'm hoping to lose some weight on this trip. So I'm not planning to take as much money as you might want to take, because,
And Kirsten mentioned bottled water,
yeah,
so in keto,
yes, that's right.
because you're gonna be drinking, brushing your teeth and drinking bottled water.
Everything will be coming out of the bottle, that's right,
Do we-
nothing from the
Do we
tap.
know on the boat if the water's gonna be,
It was listed under soft drinks that,
no,
Is it tap water or
is it
bottled?
okay to drink? Yeah.
if they have bottled water available,
Yeah.
I would not touch the tap water, just to be safe,
And then maybe take some bottled water back for brushing teeth,
yeah.
back to your room.
Will we be allowed to bring like our own granola bars or something on?
Man. Heck, yeah. Should definitely do that.
I wanna buy an alpaca sweater, so
Mhm.
I've gotta take money for that.
I wanna buy my husband a hat, cause David said it was like the best place to buy a hat.
Ooh, okay, I wanna buy a hat and an
Yeah.
alpaca sweater
Yeah.
now.
The other things, I don't think I took, maybe I did take notes with, it was us three
Uh-huh.
earlier. What did he say?
Scarves.
Scarves for girls.
Scarves.
Yeah, just like in Peru, they have a lot of beautiful like, scarves.
And then the hammocks, he said.
Oh,
So there's
yeah.
a $15
Oh, yeah.
hammock.
I want one
That
of
was
those.
really nice.
You might wanna take an extra bag for the trip back and
I
just
know.
have
Yeah.
hammocks and.
Yeah.
Bring the money to pay for the extra bag.
Pack it
Yeah,
up.
that's right.
Or you can buy a local
It's like
one,
50
you know.
bucks.
Or you could just buy one.
Mhm. Yeah, buy one, buy a local one.
So I don't really like travel that often, so this is probably a dumb question for everyone else, but, you can pack any size shampoo and stuff as long as you're checking it and not carrying it on, is that correct?
That's right.
So I could take like a full-size sunscreen.
But you just have to.
As long as
check
it's
that.
checked.
But you have to
And we
check.
get one checked bag and one carry-on?
And then usually if you get a personal item as well, so like you can have your backpack and like I'll probably have my camera bag as my personal.
I believe
At
I
least,
s-
I don't know, that was what US Airways did. I don't know about
Yeah.
Delta.
I believe
Delta,
I
one
saw
carry-on
that.
and one personal item, is that what you said?
I said
Yeah.
US Airways does that for sure, I don't know about Delta, but that's usually
I
like
think they
the
do.
one that goes up in the
Yeah.
like above and you can put one below the seat.
And
Yeah.
your personal item can be
Pretty big.
It just
Yeah.
has to be smaller than your
So they're
carry-on,
showing-
that's the only
Just has to
requirement.
fit under your seat, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
gotta fit in your seat. Like I had my backpack, this guy, like packed to the gills and stuffed it under someone's seat. It fit and it worked.
So speaking of that, the long flight from Atlanta to Quito, let's see how long that is. I know there's a little bit of time difference, but you just don't, all I was gonna say is you don't wanna, pack yourself out of legroom. And if you haven't reserved your seat yet, you may wanna go on and do that to make sure you get
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that.
where you wanna sit. Because otherwise you're gonna have a middle seat.
I think I still have a middle seat.
Okay.
Not that
Okay.
bad.
So, if there's a 1 hour difference, then, yeah, so that's gonna be like a 3 hour flight, three and a half hour flight. Let's say 3 hour flight.
This might be a dumb question, but how, like, where do you go to reserve your seat?
There was an email that I sent out,
Probably.
that had all of your names and the,
It's like a record
Reservation
locator
number,
code,
yeah.
yeah. And there were two columns. One was the number with the travel agent, ITN. The other was the number with Delta. So you go to delta.com and you put in the Delta number and.
and all of our seats will come up. So you gotta make sure, there's like a roster at the top, and so you have to make sure you check, click on your seat.
Yeah.
your
Or if
name,
there's
and-
someone
I was moving
else,
around
you can just.
Kirsten's.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
move her to the middle
Don't
and then
move.
grab her aisle seat and let.
No, not nice. Yeah, any other questions?
This isn't a question, but I was just doing some research into dive sites about the Galapagos, and they say the water temperature when we're going to be there can vary from 16 degrees to 28 degrees Celsius, which
Oh,
is
Celsius.
which
Okay.
is 60 to like 70
Yeah.
roughly. So
Frigid.
it's not terrible, but if you're like, especially if you want to
pretty
dive down to see reefs, it's going to get cold quick because you're exhausting. Yeah. And then, so we will have snorkel gear, like they're supplying it.
Yes, if you wanna use other snorkel
Yeah.
gear that other people have like licked
I think I'll
and
bring
breathed
mine
in.
then.
It's all, everything's a trade-off. My guess is they will not have all sizes.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
guess
I'll
is they
bring-
won't have enough for everyone, so you'd have to rotate. So if you can bring yours.
You don't want to go spitting in there. Well, you have to like
It's like where you're
unflog it,
from.
but the rental ones are always worse, so I guess I'll bring mine.
And any medicine we bring, that's fine in check bags too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then do you suggest packing like
You can check
all
almost
loads
anything.
of clothes in case your bag gets lost? Or-
Yeah, that's great, Chelsea. Like in your carry-on,
Mhm.
pack some, a couple pieces of clothing so that if your bag somehow gets lost, you still have a change of clothes.
Okay.
What was that carrying, like the aluminum
The credit
foil
card.
with the cards?
Yeah, Kevin, the nurse was saying that there is something now where with your phone or some other device, I could go up to Allie and kind of like scan her card just by being near her. But the aluminum, if you wrap it in aluminum, it'll save it.
Oh, sorry, one more question.
Yeah.
He said we have to carry like a yellow
Card. Yeah.
Where do you get those?
Not required, I don't think.
No, you don't
Not
need.
required?
You don't. If you get a yellow fever shot, then they will record that on a WHO card, and WHO stands for World Health Organization. There you go. There it is.
You got a
They
shot?
give you one of these, yeah. The yellow fever wasn't bad, typhoid was not. So,
Did it hurt?
yeah, typhoid, they told me it would make my arms sore, and the nurse was like, if you go work out, like, it'll help. So I was at the gym, and like halfway through working out, I like couldn't like move my arm. But
Mine's-
if you take Advil, give
Mine
it, like,
got
3 days.
swollen when I got typhoid.
Mine didn't swell at least, but I couldn't like move it. But they told me the yellow fever would probably make me sick, and I didn't get sick, so.
It's all part of the fun of international travel. It's part of the adventure.
Do you have any contact information for the travel nurse?
Kevin Long at Appalachian State.
I need to see if I have those vaccines that he gave.
Yeah.
That's his card.
So in terms of other logistics, Dr. Mosner, I don't think I have any.
I think we are good, as long as you show up at the airport, the air tickets, the airline tickets are
Yeah.
bought, they're in the system. The closest we have come, we actually have left people behind in the other country, but the closest we have ever come to not having people be able to travel with us are because they forgot the passport. Now, you would think that that would be the one thing you'd be sure to have with you, but it's amazing how easy it is to just, to make sure, even if you forget all your luggage, if you have your passport, we can get there, you can buy, shorts or whatever. Be sure to have your passport, have your trip information with you, of course, as well, but even if you forget that, we can always look it up. But the passport, you forgot the passport, we're just out of luck.
Yeah.
Especially when we're coming back, because we went to the Dominican, and the leader's son left his passport and almost didn't get to come back to the
That's
U.S.
right.
Yeah, we had the same thing happen. I had a student lose her passport in Cuba, and then I had another student
It's
lose
the worst
his,
place.
I know, lose his visa,
No American
which was, we totally had to like get our tour guide kind of had to bribe someone to get him another visa, but it like added a whole hour onto the whole departure thing, and I had to stay there and wait and make sure he was okay. And then another student was so ill from partying too much, he almost didn't make it back on the plane because he like had to vomit at the airport, and he almost didn't make it on the plane. So.
And if, at the airport, at least coming back from Brazil, we had a girl that was sick, she had drank water or something, and so there's up at the counter, her friends are saying, oh, she's been throwing up, she's sick, could she have an aisle seat near the bathroom? And what, she's sick, she can't board the plane, she can't board the plane, you're not allowed to get on if you're sick. So if you're sick, planning to fly, just suck it up.
And that was the thing, Sam like disappeared, we all had to get on a shuttle to go to the plane, and so we were already on the shuttle on the plane, and Sam didn't make it on the shuttle because, and I couldn't get off the plane, and I'm almost having to leave someone in Cuba, so.
On the other professor that talked, he said to bring ones because they won't have change.
Yeah, yes, so thank you for bringing that up.
But do you recommend like using your card as much as possible, or use it?
I don't recommend using your card as much, but I recommend bringing cash and then storing it in different places on you.
Okay.
one of the things that I've invested in over the years is, different pieces of clothing that you can stuff money in. So I have something that hooks to your bra. There's like something you can put in a belt. You unzip part of your belt. Pants. I mean, there's all kinds of places you can hide.
I've seen people with it in their shoe.
Yeah. Socks.
And the beauty is 3 weeks after the trip, you're putting some clothes on and you're finding money in all the pockets.
Exactly. Could you fill that out now? That's for now, sorry.
Oh. While you're here.
So this isn't the extra credit one?
This is the extra.
Oh, this is the extra credit?
Yeah.
But it's a twofold thing.
It's a two-part,
Oh,
yeah.
this is before and after?
Yep, that's right.
I think the before and after are identical, but
And then the trip leader has to fill it out.
it's real short, yeah. No? Oh, I've only done the short version.
If I'm technically a grad student for the trip, is that what I need to circle?
Sure.
I don't feel like
Are you sure? Do you have the trip leader one
It's
there?
in my office.
I'm feeling guilty now. We can work on it together if you want.
I'd rather have you feel guilty. I'll come and help you somehow.
So we also watched Master and Commander, The Other Side of the World, which is filmed in the Galapagos Park as well. That was a little more fun than The Devil Came from the Devil.